Hello everyone, welcome to another amazing video. If you enjoy the content, I ask that you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the upcoming parts and new videos. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video. Are you ready? Let's go.
Lin Yuan has no more ways to resist, but suddenly Lin Yuan smiles and says that Li Qinggan is really unlucky to hear this. The demonic plant removes the shield and asks indignantly what he said, that he needs to stop talking nonsense. The black lizard sees this and thinks that his strength is only enough for one blow, just like him. Then he turns to Li Qinggan and says that without the energy accumulating crystal, he might actually lose to him. What a pity something like that will never happen again. Immediately after these words, blue rays of light appear around the black lizard. Li Qinggan sees this and wonders what kind of crystal is happening. Lin Yuan shouts that Li Qinggan is an idiot. Li Qinggan can't understand if it's some kind of joke. He begins again to create a shield around himself, which this time is much more powerful than the previous one, but a powerful attack from the black lizard destroys the shield. Wang Lin, Zhao Ming, and Wang Jin watch in astonishment. At this moment, Lin Yuan uses a nuclear breath attack to throw Li Qinggan straight into the wall. He hits it and falls to the ground. The crowd freezes with interest. Lin Yuan won. He really defeated Li Qinggan. Then the announcer's voice is heard announcing that, based on the results of the duel, the victory goes to Lin Yuan, having defeated Li Qinggan. He rises from the 18th to the 4th place in the rankings. Wang Lin, who watches this, notes that he couldn't even think that this could happen. Then, the announcer announces that the fight is over. Zhao Ming and Wang Jin hug each other and exclaim joyfully, "Hooray, Lin Yuan won 45 million. Wang Lin, who also looks at the arena with a smile. At this moment, Wu Xuan approaches Li Qinggan and starts getting angry while Li Qinggan is unconscious on the ground. Li Yuan is pleased to notice that this is his first gift to Wu Xuan. What will he say? At this moment, Wu Xuan exclaims with dissatisfaction that Lin Yuan will still think about the consequences. He's not afraid to regret. Li Yuan then turns and asks what they were thinking when they started their activities. Zhao Ming was injured by a gang member and simply didn't accept the established rules, so he decided to challenge. Song Lan decided to intercede for him and was also injured. It is still unknown when he will be released from the medical center. It doesn't seem to Wu Xuan that they should have thought about the consequences first, but he responds with a smile that it was just a misunderstanding. Lin Yuan clarifies if there's a misunderstanding. Wu Xuan explains that of course he feels sorry for his roommates. Maybe if he had been a bit stricter with the members of his group, this wouldn't have happened. However, aggression on both sides is inevitable. If he wants, Wu Xuan can apologize to his friend on behalf of the whole organization. With these words, he extends his hand as a sign of courtesy. Moreover, with sincere intentions, he invites Lin Yuan and Song Lan to join him. In fact, he values them a lot. Maybe one day they can become friends. He doesn't have to do anything, just agree. They will receive a salary exactly equal to what Shen Kang receives. The audience exclaims perplexedly. Apparently, he wanted to attract Lin Yuan. It's called One More Friend, One Less Enemy. Wu Xuan also doesn't know how Lin Yuan will respond to his proposal, but Lin Yuan asks with a smile if he proposed similar conditions to Chu Tianyi. Wu Xuan doesn't understand what he means. Lin Yuan explains that Wu Xuan charges money from ordinary freshmen to attract others to his side. That's the difference between him and Wu Xuan. Wu Xuan knows why Chu Tianyi rejected him. Because tigers and jackals don't live together, especially ones so big. They are just a group of leeches parasitizing society. How dare they call themselves serious organizations? In fact, it's even more immature than playing with children's toys. Wang Jin and Zhao Ming exclaim in shock. This could lead to bad consequences. Now, Wang Lin adds with a smile that they thought he was crazy, but compared to Lin Yuan, he was nothing. The audience begins to shout that Lin Yuan is right. This gang only feeds on the students. They ask if they are worthy of holding high positions on the leaderboard. It's not for them to capture the top. Wu Xuan hears this, gets angry, and notes that he has never experienced such humiliation before. How dare this Lin Yuan say this? Lin Yuan leaves, waves his hand and says he's not very happy. It's okay. He can even send Shen Kang now or come himself. He doesn't care whom he fights. In the end, he will defeat everyone. Then, he turns briefly and says, "The game has begun." Before making a choice, Wu Xuan should think carefully, but Wu Xuan doesn't respond, just grits his teeth and looks at Lin Yuan after some time. Wang Lin, Wang Jin, Zhao Ming, Lin Yuan, and Song Lan gather for dinner at a private restaurant in Bam. Song Lan says it's his first time at such an event, but Wang Lin reassures him, saying he doesn't need to worry, Boss Wang is paying. Zhao Ming reads the menu and exclaims, "Dragon meat fried in soy sauce, black dragon steak, lunar panther legs, fiery lion leg." All the dishes are made with such expensive ingredients that he feels uncomfortable somehow. But Wang Jin, with a smile, is different. He can order whatever he wants. When will there be another opportunity to eat food of this level? Zhao Ming turns to him and says surprised, "Wow, he's so generous today." Wang Jin smiles and explains that Lin Yuan should be thanked for this. They have 45 million, so this dinner is just a trifle for them. Then he turns to Lin Yuan holding a glass of wine in his hand and says with a smile that he should make a toast to him. But Lin Yuan refuses and says he can't drink tonight. He planned to go to the training hall. Zhao Ming asks in shock if it can't be that he's still prepared for training today. Wang Jin is dissatisfied and adds that if he doesn't drink, it means he doesn't respect them. So, Lin Yuan exclaims that it's okay, he will drink. With these words, he picks up the glass and drinks it immediately. Then, Zhao Ming hugs him by the shoulders and exclaims that it's another matter. At the same time, Wang Jin pours another glass of wine. Then, Wang Lin approaches him and congratulates him with a smile for his victory over Li Qinggan and for the 4th place in the ranking. Lin Yuan responds that it was all thanks to the information he gave him. Wang Lin insists that he shouldn't be so modest. Everyone already understands how strong he is. His friend Song Lan approaches him and also expresses gratitude. They haven't fully recovered, so he had to replace alcohol with tea. Lin Yuan replies that it's nothing. After all, they are neighbors. Besides, he won't stop there. Then Song Lan responds that he humiliated Wu Xuan in front of hundreds of students today, and he won't let him do that. Wu Xuan may attack sneakily, but Wang Jin says with a smile that it's impossible to attack a beast king of his level from behind. Moreover, the university would not forgive that. Lin Yuan turns to him and exclaims with a laugh that he can count on him. Then, they start ordering food and also need more glasses. At this moment, in Yuan Li's infirmary room, lying on Wu Xuan's hospital bed, he lost. How is this possible? What should he do now? Should he try to recruit Lin Yuan? Wu Xuan responds that he and Chu Tianyi are equals, but Lin Yuan is even more annoying. Alright, he'll deal with it. Then, he gives Yuan Li a vial of green liquid and says it's a healing elixir that restores limbs. He should apply it to the wounds, and everything will be fine. But Yuan Li exclaims that he can't accept it, it's too expensive for him. So, Wu Xuan asks with a smile what he will do when the national competition starts. He was going to fight alongside him. Then, he leaves and waves, saying he has to go, and Yuan Li should rest. He leaves the hospital room and thinks with irritation that the first, the second, they're all just idiots. Then, he goes to the vice-chancellor's office and knocks on the door. The vice-chancellor says he can come in. Wu Xuan enters the room and says, "Uncle," but the senior vice-chancellor interrupts him, suddenly turns around and says he didn't think he had such a worthless nephew. Then he asks if Wu Xuan knows what his mistake is, an excess of arrogance. He thinks he is brave and adaptable to circumstances, but in reality, he is just a brainless fool. After all, the reason people dominate him is due to his own weakness. He gave him everything, meaning opportunities, but Wu Xuan never progressed beyond the 3rd place, which is shameful. Why? The vice dean then looks out the window and wonders how a student of this academy has never left the top of the leaderboard. Because then Wu Xuan is useless, so he turns to Wu Xuan and asks what he needs. Frowning, he answers his uncle that it's all right. He will personally contact Lin Yuan and restore his reputation. But the vice dean responds that he shouldn't even try to challenge him if he's not sure of victory. In 10 days, the national tournament for freshmen will officially begin. Prestigious educational institutions from across the country attach considerable importance to this event. Yanjing will gather all the talents. He understands what they are talking about. Only by performing well in the tournament can he truly demonstrate to everyone that he is worthy of leading people. Wu Xuan grits his teeth and tells his uncle that he understands. Then the vice dean sits at the table, starts writing something and says, "It's all right. He will take care of the rest." Wu Xuan needs to get back to training. Wu Xuan thanks him for his guidance. At this moment in the training room, Xu Qingqiu exclaims, "Sure enough, Lin Yuan defeated Li Qing'an." Sumu hears this and notes happily that after all, he never did anything he wasn't sure of. Xu Qingqiu then asks if she has reached a level sufficient to compete for a place on the leaderboard. What does she think? Sumu explains that the tournament will start soon, and there are only 12 vacant spots. She needs to be among the top 10 to have a chance to advance. Xu Qingqiu responds again that with her current skills, there shouldn't be a problem. With whom will she fight? Sumu answers that it's Wu Xuan, and of course, Xu Qingqiu clarifies that it's because he insulted Lin Yuan. Sumu exclaims with an angry face that she has no reason to let him go. Xu Qingqiu thinks discontentedly, wow, he really is going to intervene. After some time, Lin Yuan and Long Che arrive at the capital of the Beast to Soul Hall. Lin Yuan looks around and comments admirably that this place truly deserves to be called a hall, with this scale, this scope. Long adds that there is everything here, a practice area, a commercial area, a place for missions, entertainment, consultations, and talent identification. To buy something, they only need to go to the shopping area. When they enter the hall, a consultant greets them and asks about their interests. She looks at Lin Yuan and thinks disdainfully that he is so young, it seems like he's not capable of buying a lot. Lin Yuan then asks if they sell storage artifacts here. The girl immediately exclaims with joy that, of course, they can follow her. At that moment, she thinks the bill will be several million. Shortly after, they are on the 12th floor, near the artifact counter. Lin Yuan says admirably that when he was promoted, the bronze storage artifact he wanted to have only had a volume of 10 cubic meters. Long also looks at the counter with fascination and responds that this is too little. They should buy more. Then, Lin Yuan goes back to the girl and asks if they have artifacts with a volume greater than 10 cubic meters. She responds immediately that, of course, if they allow, she can recommend some for them. So, she shows them one of the artifacts and says that this is a ring with a compartment. It has a reserve of 20 cubic meters. It is convenient to use and easy to carry. The ring is suitable for young people who are often away from home. At the same time, she thinks to herself that the price for this is 5 million, but Lin Yuan immediately responds that he'll take it. He then asks if they also have lower-level beast soul crystals. The consultant girl asks, surprised how much he needs, noting that he is rich and has fantastic curiosity. Lin Yuan explains with a smile that he needs 100,000. The girl apologizes, confused, and asks why he needs so much. Lin Yuan explains that he is from the Beast Academy and his mentor is conducting an experiment on how creatures change after prolonged use of lower-level beast soul crystals, and he is helping with the purchases. At that moment, he decides not to lie and reveals that he is the mentor himself. The girl looks at him with admiration and responds that, of course, he just needs to wait a minute. They will prepare everything for him. She also adds that he still needs 100 beast miracle pills. The girl looks at him with adoration and thinks that he is an excellent student, and even with money he is very generous. This is wonderful. Long asks Lin Yuan, surprised that this time everything costs 20 million. What else does he need? He sighs and replies that there isn't much left in the account. He needs to save some. But suddenly Lin Yuan notices something in front of him, and his eyes widen. Then, he looks closer and sees a Beast King level artifact, the Wind Spirit Talisman, Wind Attribute, worth 20 million. He immediately asks what that is. Long explains that it is a runic-type artifact that doesn't take up a weapon or armor slot, but adds attributes. This kind of rune increases the agility attribute, Lin Yuan clarifies, just like Song Lan's buff. Long explains with pleasure that yes, he could say that. However, in a single battle, there won't be a Song Lan who can share that buff. Lin Yuan observes that it is excellent, but the explosive power he possesses reduces the value of his agility attribute. But somehow it is very expensive. He is short of 10 million. Long clarifies that this money can be borrowed. Lin Yuan responds immediately happily that this is also true, so he calls Wang Jin, who answers and asks what happened. Lin Yuan asks him if he could borrow 15 million for a month. Wang Jin asks, surprised what he had more than 20 million, where did that money go? Lin Yuan explains timidly that he spent it all on equipment. Wang Jin agrees and replies that he will transfer the money now. Lin Yuan sincerely thanks him. At that moment, the girl approaches him and, turning to Lin Yuan, hands him a package and says that his crystals and storage ring are packed. She also exclaims in her mind that he is the god of wealth, and she loves him. But Lin Yuan points to the wind spirit talisman and clarifies that he will take that too. The girl looks at him shocked and thinks with gratitude that the sales number has reached so quickly at the beginning of the month. Shortly after, Lin Yuan and Long leave the store, at which point the girl bows to the ground and exclaims that the Lord should come again. Lin Yuan hears that and thinks that he almost became a rich man and became a debtor in an instant. But who could maintain his place? In the afternoon, he enters the dormitory and asks the neighbors why everyone is gathered. Zhao Ming finds out that he arrived just in time to go to the lecture with them. Lin Yuan explains that he is very tired today, and besides, the training affects him much more. Song Lan agrees, but says that the lecture will be very useful for people at their level, so it's better to go. Lin Yuan asks about the subject of the lecture when leaving the room. Zhao Ming explains that they say there is a difference between the level of a beast lord and a king. Many people have settled at the beast king level. Wang Jin then adds excitedly that this time Professor Zhao Shan volunteered personally to give the lecture. He will teach Lin Yuan how to evolve to the lord level. Lin Yuan hears this and is very surprised. After some time, the students gather in the auditorium of the Beast Academy. Lin Yuan enters and looks around, perplexed, asking if Professor Zhao Shan is really so popular. Zhao Ming responds immediately that yes, he achieved the lord level at a young age, causing quite a stir in society. If they look ahead, all the front rows are already occupied. So, Wang Jin smiles and says they can count on him. They will definitely secure their seats at the front. He approaches the students loudly and apologizes for being a little late, offering 10,000 to anyone who vacates their seats. The students immediately start raising their hands and suggest they can vacate their seats. Shortly after, Zhao Ming, sitting in the front row, exclaims the power of money and all its glory. Wang Jin agrees, indeed. After this, Zhao Shan goes up to the stage and notices that Lin Yuan also came to listen. He stands near the microphone and announces that he is very pleased to greet everyone. He believes that everyone is there to learn how to evolve to the Lord level. As they know, many of those present have already reached the king level. But as they progress, they probably find themselves stuck and unable to advance further. This issue is the most urgent. So, the Beast Soul Hall has conducted various studies and, in the end, arrived at the following conclusion. Many of them still do not understand their own path. Lin Yuan hears this and wonders. The students also start discussing what they don't understand about the subject. Zhao Shan explains that the so-called path is the ideal match of a person with their beast soul. That is, it is complete unity. Zhao Ming approaches Song Lan and asks if he understands something. Song Lan responds thoughtfully that he understands something but is not sure if it's correct. He continues to explain that the students don't need to worry. Not understanding a bit is normal. He should give a more specific example. Once, during cultivation, he spent 6 months walking in places with majestic landscapes. His soul animal is of the earth, an angry bear, so he considered it necessary to feel the power of the earth and also understand every movement of the wild beast. Until one day, he finally felt a change. The strength of the earth and the strength of the bear became his strength. At this moment, a large angry bear appears above Zhao Shan, roaring loudly. The students see this and exclaim admirably. Lin Yuan also looks surprised and thinks that every word spoken is admirable. Zhao Shan is praised. Naturally, each soul is unique and everyone has their own path. They need to figure out what works best for them. There's no need to hurry. The best emperor-level mentor today is Zhang Yang. It also took him 3 years to find his path. Lin Yuan wonders about the 3 years. Wang Jin explains that yes, after finding his path, he elevated his S-rank soul level to SSS in 1 day, and the 9 stars of the Beast King turned into 6 stars of the Lord. He explains that before evolving, Jiang Yang was a mediocre soulmaster, but perseverance and determination are precisely the qualities they lack. Therefore, the evolution process is not as complicated as it may seem at first glance, but at the same time, it's not entirely simple. Lin Yuan thinks about it. The path is indeed an abstract concept. It requires merging with the soul, in other words, finding an answer in one's own consciousness. After the end of the lecture, only Zhao Ming, Song Lan, Lin Yuan, and Wang Jin remained in the audience. After a brief silence, Zhao Ming asked with confusion which soul professor Zhao Shan was referring to. He didn't understand a word. Does he really need to catch some snakes to prevent intuition? But Wang Jin replied that he didn't understand anything either. At that moment, Song Lan, thinking about it, said that he had a kind of realization. Previously, he resisted his soul beasts, then tried to develop physical skills, but in the battle with Yuan Li, he realized that this wasn't the advantage after all. So perhaps he should embrace the characteristics of his beast. Lin Yuan hears this and is surprised. Song Lan thinks like a true genius. He oriented himself so quickly. Suddenly someone addresses him. Lin Yuan turns around and sees Zhao Shan. He asks how he enjoyed the lecture, whether it emphasized anything new. Lin Yuan responds that yes, but he still can't figure out which path to follow. Zhao Shan approaches him and reassures him. He doesn't need to worry. He recently evolved to the king level. What's unique is that it happened so quickly, and besides, he ranked 4th on the leaderboard. Lin Yuan stands in front of him and replies that he couldn't lose face in front of him. Besides, he also needs to return something to the professor. With these words, he hands the vault to Zhao Shan. He takes it and asks with a smile. Not bad, they must have earned a lot from bets. At that moment, Wang Jin approaches Lin Yuan and says that Zhao Shan can also join, but he shakes his head and replies that he will probably decline. Moreover, if they still want to challenge Wu Xuan, then they will have to wait a few weeks, as he was sent on some mission. Hearing this, Wang Jin turns to Lin Yuan and says that Wu Xuan is deliberately avoiding him. But Zhao Shan hears this and explains that there's no need to exaggerate. His uncle is the vice director, he gave him a mission. Wang Jin responds understandingly. The vice director never got along with his father, so he does this. Zhao Shan approaches Lin Yuan, puts his hand on his shoulder and tells him not to worry. If something happens, he won't leave his students alone. The national tournament is approaching. They can prepare calmly while there's time. Lin Yuan thanks the professor for this, and the day begins to change into night. Lin Yuan is in the practice room, absorbing the nuclear energy from the lower-grade crystals. Long exclaims that the effect of 100 pills was powerful. It would only take 5 days to absorb 5,000 crystals. Now, he has successfully reached the 4th star of the Beast King. Lin Yuan closes his eyes and observes that it's a pity he has to spend 5 million evolution points on this. Perhaps Professor Zhao Shan was right, and it's all due to his lack of awareness of his path. Then Long asks if he can try the real combat training mode, because he remembers there was one in the training room. Lin Yuan listens attentively and then presses a special key, saying he will check it now. The information window provides an article about the swamp lizard, good at fighting in a swamp environment, and has extreme vitality. Next is the terrifying golden wolf, an extremely bloody monster. After that, the information window offers the formidable golden monkey, an incredibly fierce and bloodthirsty monster. Finally, an armored monkey with a golden pupiled eye covered in steel armor, with very powerful defense, causes hallucinations when making direct eye contact with its golden pupil. Long explains that the real battle simulation function allows selecting the enemy according to its strength and simulating the battle process 100%. They won't need to worry about injuries. So Lin Yuan points his finger at the screen and says he chooses the 5-star armored monkey. He looks carefully ahead and finds himself in the middle of a large field. The information window notifies that the armored monkey battle simulation was successful and he can start the battle. The black lizard looks around and wonders suddenly when a large monkey appears in front of him, roaring loudly and beating its chest with its fists. The monkey hits the black lizard on the leg and he notices the strength. Then, the monkey attacks the lizard again, surprising him for being a 5-star enemy. The monkey then strikes, but Lin Yuan also prepares in the base. then grabs the monkey's throat and is surprised to find that the neck is not the weak point since the monkey is covered with armored fur. The black lizard realizes that its claws are stuck, and at that moment, the monkey injures the lizard in the chest. She wonders how this is possible. In the Beast Academy's training room, Lin Yuan is in the simulation, and the monkey throws him to the ground with a blow. Lin Yuan falls and ends up on the floor of the practice room. The information window announces that the battle simulation is over and the participant died. The test failed. Lin Yuan sits on the ground and realizes that the sensations of pain are very realistic. If they had fought for real, he definitely wouldn't have survived. He underestimated the enemy. He should pay more attention to its strength and speed. Moreover, his intuition failed, and he couldn't accurately determine the monkey's weakness. Long asks in surprise if Lin Yuan is going to try again or change the opponent. Lin Yuan resolutely responds that he wants to try again because the difference in strength is not that great. A few moments later, he finds himself back in the simulation, and an armored monkey appears in front of him. Lin Yuan immediately realizes that he needs to take the initiative. He then opens his mouth widely and releases a nuclear breath at the monkey, but the nuclear breath passes through the monkey without harming it at all. Lin Yuan closes his mouth and notices that the old techniques no longer work on it. Suddenly, the monkey jumps and begins to fall directly onto the black lizard. But at that moment, the monkey sees the black lizard opening its mouth, and a jet of nuclear breath bursts from the earth. The monkey is thrown high into the air and dies. Lin Yuan bids farewell to it with a smile. Then, the monkey falls, and the black lizard jumps on it, continuing to strike. Suddenly he turns back into a human, is surprised, and hears the announcement that the simulation will be concluded. The golden-pupiled monkey is dead, and the task was successfully completed. If there is information, regardless of the opponent's level, he can still win. At that moment, a meeting was taking place at the Beast Academy. Wang Ting announces that it's time to begin. At that exact moment, the vice director enters the room and apologizes for being late. He explains that he was feeling unwell. Then, he sits at the table and asks Director Wang Ting to continue, telling him not to pay attention to him. Wang Ting agrees and says that it seems there shouldn't be anyone else. He will continue. This time, they should determine the final list of participants. He wants to recommend Song Lan, believing that this man needs no introduction. Suddenly, the vice director's phone rings, and he explains that he forgot to mute it, then laughs and adds that it was his fault. There is silence in the room. The vice director looks at Wang Ting and thinks that this old man appeared very suddenly. Zhao Shan looks at him and wonders if he's provoking openly or secretly. Then, Zhao Shan, Sumu's mentor, a lord at the level, agrees with the director's proposal. For his part, she points out Sumu, an S-level snowfox in the ranking. Moreover, her bloodline has grown to SSS level. Zhao Shan listens with interest and notes that he didn't expect Ling Shuangyue, the person holding the position of vice director, to suddenly propose a candidate, especially Sumu, a student who reached SSS level in a short time. Wang Ting asks if there is an objection to her candidacy. Suddenly, a man raises his hand and announces that he is nominating Chu Tiani. Zhao Shan turns in his direction and thinks how cunning he is to nominate the first on the list. After that, Director Wang Ting says with a smile that 3 positions have been determined. But suddenly, the vice director announces that he is nominating Wu Xuan, who is now in 3rd place on the list, also SSS level. He believes that Wu Xuan is sufficiently prepared to participate in the competition. The people sitting at the table begin to discuss that this student is not bad at all. He has not only strength but also organizational skills, making him a leader among the freshmen. That's true. Director Wang Ting recalls the same leader from the hunter list a few days ago. He came to watch the match and saw him. He thinks that Wu Xuan reminds him of themselves when they were young, so it's no surprise that they agreed. In response to this, the vice director smiles and says, "There is no need." He also believes that something or someone who seems harmless but is dangerous or deceptive, nothing will work out for him sooner or later. Everything will belong to him. Suddenly, Zhao Shan announces that he is also nominating Lin Yuan. He recently defeated Li Qinggan and ranked 4th on the leaderboard. His strength is obvious to everyone. He should become a member. But suddenly, someone interrupts him and asks if Lin Yuan seems to be his fellow countryman and disciple, and, most importantly, he is rank E. Is it appropriate to promote his people like this? Yes, the whole city will laugh at them if they allow him into the ring. At that moment, Zhao Shan pounds the table with his palm and stands up threateningly, asking the man what he means. If he is strong, why can't he recommend him? In response to this, the vice director taps his finger on the table and asks Professor Zhao Shan to calm down. He then says that Lin Yuan is indeed developing very rapidly, but Zhao Shan can assure that he is stronger than others. The reputation of the city and the academy is at stake. All right, they will let Ranky present himself, but if he loses, Zhao Shan will bear the consequences.
If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and like the video. Thank you.